Beautiful, beautiful people, a pleasant afternoon to everybody. If you have not yet made Jesus Christ your personal Lord and Savior, please feel free to do so. He's the best being ever. Certainly that would be the bestest decision you could ever make. All right, beautiful people, listen. You know, there's some things that God hates, and one of the 7 or the many things that he abhors is lies, deceit, feet and hands and mouths that are quick to rush to do evil. And they malign people's character. It's malevolent, it is sinister, it is evil, it is wicked. It is hideous in its nature. And I see this very popular TikTok in Jamaica. And because he doesn't fit the status quo of what an alpha male perhaps should behave and look like, I hear people, they have their lives and they're accusing him of being in the alphabet crew without any proof. And yet again, they're doing this. People, you need to stop it. It is wrong. And until they start to hold you people accountable and charge you, you will... That is the only way you will refrain or refuse from doing these things. It is not good. You cannot just watch somebody's outward appearance and make an assumption that they are this, that, and the third because they don't fit what you feel or think is the way that or is the correct way for a macho or a masculine man, testosterone man, the alpha male ought to act. Remember that environments play a lot, especially if he's around a lot of female. He's going to take on certain attributes or certain personality traits or certain way of living. It doesn't mean that he has to be in the alphabet crew. It doesn't mean that, my beautiful people. It is something that we ought to stop doing. Judge not lest ye be judged. Those are judgment calls that are unfounded. You cannot just use somebody's outward appearance or their dress code unless you have full proof. It is a wrong thing to do because some people tend to judge people, and usually the ones that you think are not straight are straight, and the ones who you think because they may act macho, they dress that way, they seemingly like girls or whatever it is, deep in their hearts, it's not women they really want. And they're very masculine. And they dress masculine, look it. It's just a discernment that you get from God that will tell you that there's something is off with this so-called masculine one. And somebody may embrace more of his feminine traits. And when I say feminine, more sensitive, metrosexual in his dress. People are metrosexual, so they'll dress in colorful stuff as men, match from head to toe, and not afraid to embrace that so-called feminine side, the healthy feminine side, because so you understand both men, no matter how macho a man is, he has the X chromosome, which means he has the feminine touch within him innately. It was inbuilt in him, and God was deliberate in that, not for homosexual purposes, but for men to understand women and women to understand and to emit emotions that are important to relationships, the healthy relationships. So, some people, they dress completely differently. And it is really wrong, for people to just get up and assume that some people are a particular thing because they may seem to tick off on some checkbox that normally goes with a particular kind of group. So that particular group, because they're colorful and so on, or they get in touch with their feminine side more for the males, and vis-a-vis the females who get in touch with their masculine side, automatically you feel that they've gone. There are women who have a sort of a masculine frame in their personality, their disposition, and they are as straight as an arrow. Just that maybe they have a little bit more of the Y chromosome, a little bit more of that, where they embody that a little bit more. And being overly feminine is toxic and ridiculous. Similar to being overly masculine is toxic and ridiculous. It is wrong because a lot of you have accused people falsely. There's a fellow I know, and he has he would have embodied that sort of feminine trait. And I remember meeting his sister and observed her, And I said, my God, it's like looking at the fellow. And I said, oh, it's maybe how they were grown up. It was like looking at the fellow. And the fellow would wear heavy makeup, but I couldn't understand it. What was happening is that, you know, he may not have had a strong self-esteem, but he had bad skin, acne. And I don't know if people, you know that having acne can make you feel suicidal? Go and read up on it. I'm not asking you that. I remember having a little bit here years ago. And when it would move, I felt that way. Like I said, I don't want to live because it's my face. That's what everybody's seeing. You follow? And he was and what he did is like he put a little goatee so that it doesn't give him, you know, not too much of a, like a queer look, but, you know, more of a, I was thinking, you know, when you look at Pavarotti or one of those classical operatic singers and they have that kind of look, or medieval look, one of those medieval movies. And the fellow was as straight as an arrow, married, maybe with children, happy as ever, because he was one of those people who was just true to form. If he was that way, he would have gone that way. Never had to pretend and hide behind a woman. You have to be careful, people. Stop going with what you feel. People are ticking check boxes. You can't just look at the outward frame, because there are people who may look that way and they're really, really not that way. They're not even inclined that way. And those who fit the masculine, I remember somebody pointing out somebody who is like that. Masculine frame, tone, disposition, dress code, and he's not on the straight and narrow. I was shocked. That was my first time really seeing that is more than what meets the eye. It is not good, people, because you destroy lives when you accuse people falsely. I was watching a TikTok thing yesterday and I saw people literally discussing the fellow without any proof. One guy said, I'm not going to allow you to bring me into this because he is the same way you did to him you've done to me. And it is not true. And people are convinced and they run with it and they say it go like that. And you have people that they hold true, and until somebody hold true to them in that way, in something, then they will stop doing things like that. Don't do it, people. Don't do it. Doesn't matter if it's seen that way. Even if you think it, you keep it there. You don't get up and start to spread, say, you know, so that man is whatnot. And it was years ago, I remember watching one of those black inspired movies. When I say they talk about what goes on in the black community. And I remember there was this guy, let me tell you, I mean, he made RuPaul drag queen days look like a joke in terms of how he would have been, his mannerism, very extremely effeminate. And I was completely convinced that he was that way. Lo and behold, when he was talking to somebody about, you know, his partner that he's going out with. So, you know how the movie make you, when you look, it was actually a woman and he was so in love with the woman. He was not bi, he was not that way. He just embodied that. And it's the second time coming across somebody like that. He just said, because he was not afraid to share it. He was not afraid to say if he was that way or not. And ironically, the man, there was another one in there, very masculine, nice, that most women would want. And the woman caught a man actually down on him while he was dating a woman. Very masculine. The complete opposite of the guy. And the guy was so in love, so in his relationship with the woman. You understand what I'm saying? And it had, when I say flamboyant, I mean, you cannot just go with the outward, because sometimes, unfortunately, you know, they may be around and they pick up these traits, they pick up these habits and they run with it. And sometimes they feel like that is the way to get out, to get in touch with the feminine side. If they do that, more women will like it and find it attractive. Sometimes they have these beliefs, you just don't know. But the point that I'm making, unless you have proof, don't accuse people. Don't do it. It's not good. It is wrong. No, I'm not saying that men should be effeminate. You know, the Bible talks about that. But I'm simply saying to you that it is not good to run with something when you don't have proof. You're judging falsehood. It is unfounded. And until a judgment stick is meted out to you, then that is when you'll begin to understand. Leave it alone. If it run across your mind, just say, boy, and pray for them, so them change, if that is even the case. But it is not good. And until the laws of the land hold someone accountable for coming and promulgating these false messages, then that is when you'll stop. Anyway, guys, you know, to do your TikTok and YouTube, subscribe, give me one of those lions.